So there are many methods that you can use for debugging. So here we have a Scratch program, have a random number from 1 to 10, and somebody has 3 chances to guess it, right? So one method for debugging is to leave comments in your code. Commenting your code is actually a really good practice to have. You should always do it. And how you can do that is in Scratch is you right click and you can add a comment. This is really far off, so you can actually drag it closer too. So here, you can say something like picks a random number. And then maybe another thing here, I'd want to say, leave a comment that says, like, okay, well, if the answer is equal to the random number, then maybe I want my comment to say, like, condition for correctness. And this one might have a comment that says something like, condition for something that's, or for a guess that's too large. Right, so these comments help you debug because you know what should be going on in that piece of code. Now, another method of debugging is inspection. So I can look through this code and try and inspect it for what's right and wrong. Now, inspection is really nice if you have short code, but when you have a lot of code, it's really hard to just use pure inspection. So another method that you could use is testing. I think we kind of do that naturally sometimes. So here, there is an error in here. Let's say I want to test. So let's guess a positive integer. Well, actually, okay, so the actual random number is 10. But let me guess 4. Well, it tells me 4 is too large. That's an error, right? And I found that by testing the code. So I can look here and say, condition for a guess that's too large, that's where I need to look. And here I have, well, if the answer is less than random number, say too large. That's where our mistake is. So then we can correct that to get the right answer. Okay, so those are 3 methods for debugging. You can use comments, you can test, and you can inspect to find some logical errors. Now, there's also another way that we can debug, and that is by adding say blocks to check a value. So in my code here, let's add some comments. So for this one, I'd like my comment to say start at left of canvas. Okay. And then here, let's see, set my variable to this value, and then I repeat until my variable equals 0. So I move 10 steps so many times until my variable equals 0. There is a mistake here. Okay, so one thing that I can do is first let's test it. And as we may find, so our Scratch Cat should really only be moving 9 times. But as you can see, it keeps going more than 9 times. So that's how we know we have a mistake here. I tested it. There's something wrong. Well, let's say by looking at my code, by inspecting it, I couldn't find the error. Well, another method that you can use is to add a say block. So here I'd like to say my variable so that I can see what's going on. Because if this were a long piece of code, it might it wouldn't be easy to keep track. Say my variable was something like 10,000, right? Just by watching the code, I might lose track after 100. So, to keep up without having to inspect my code line by line, I can add this say block here. And if I say my variable, then I don't have to keep track of it. My code will tell me, okay, this is what my variable is here, here, and here. So if I play this, it says it's 9, then 10, then 11. Now I can see, whoa, my variable is increasing. I need my variable to decrease if it's going to keep repeating until it's equal to 0. So that tells me that I should probably change something here. Because I'm changing by 1, I should change by -1. Now I can remove this. And let's see if it's doing the right thing. So now it'll move 9 times, and then it should stop. Yay, we fixed it. So this method is to add a say block. So it's telling you the values as they go along, so you don't have to mentally keep track. So now we've talked about 4 different methods of debugging. Comments. Using comments in your code, you should definitely comment your code. Using the say block to check values as you go along. Testing your code. And of course, inspecting your code for any logical errors. Okay, so that's all I have to say about debugging for now.